Hey everybody, what I'm doing today is waxing frames, getting them ready to make nucs. And when I make nucs, I always put 2 brand new frames in there for the bees to draw out for comb. And then I also put 2 new frames back into each hive that I pull brood from. So I just want to show you how I'm doing that, just a few of the steps. So I got 20 frames in each one of these boxes. Dump them out, start my box, and then I turn it over to get it ready. I've got my wax melted right here with a little brush, a little roller, and I always put it on just as fast as I can. Pause. That second one, there's always less wax on my roller, so I coat it back and forth a couple of times. First one just got plenty of wax on it. So, a lot of planning that goes on when you're gonna make nucs. Like I keep data on how many nucs I get or how many I can pull from each hive every year. Got all of that data, so I just basically do the math that says I should be able to make X amount of nucs this year, multiply that times 4, or actually I multiply that times 2, and then based on the number of hives I got, I multiply that times 2, and that tells me how many of these frames I need to make up. Of course, I give myself a little extra in case I make a few extra nucs. So that's one side, and then I just flip them over and do the other side. You can see, had a bit of a runoff with my wax. I put a little bit too much in there and was not out here tending to it. And it made that beautiful mountain, a little lava flow, I guess you would say. So, but anyway, you can see the nuc boxes back behind me. And I paint those different colors to try to increase queen acceptance. I've asked a couple of the researchers that are in beekeeping at Florida, and they've never seen any data that shows whether it increases your queen acceptance or not. I normally get about 80% mated queens back. 20% of them don't make it back or fail to emerge or something like that. So I'll paint these regardless of whether I have data that says that it increases acceptance or not. Because I want to do everything I possibly can and don't want to take the chance that it doesn't improve mating success. So that's why I paint them. Doesn't take that long. I just run along, put in with a little spray can. I paint them yellow, orange, purple, blue. I think I've used green before. And that's because those colors are in the bee's visual spectrum, color spectrum. So I use that to, again, for the queen, when she goes out on her mating flight, she can orient herself to that particular color. And I'll show later, we'll do a video when we're putting these nucs out. Actually, when we're making them up, we're gonna do a video on that. But we put them out in groups of 4, pointing in the different directions, north, south, east, and west. And I'll only put 1 of each color in that little group. And then we'll skip down, a few yards and put another group out. And let's say we got orange pointing north in the first group. Well, in the second group, it will not be pointing north. It'll be either pointing east, west, or south, something like that. All right. So once I get these waxed, then what I do is I go over here handful of these plugs and go along. I put them in my boxes. I'm sure this is kind of just oversimplified, but hey, it may help somebody speed up their process of how they do it. So get another handful. So, then I just go along, take these lids off. And get one of these piles of frames. And I put 2 in each box. That way, when we get to the field, all we have to do is open them up and put the brood and the food in with the column. Or with the newt, that is. Then we take them to wherever we're going to take them to. Usually what we do is we take them to the next bee yard that we're going to be pulling nukes from, and we set them out there. That way, any older bees that are in the nuke that I pull, they won't be able to fly back to their original hive. They'll have to stay there with it, and that helps in keeping it, keeping them warm if it gets cool. Something like that. These are made up during March. So, thank you. These boxes up. First thing I have to do is assemble them. Kara, if you'll show them that stack over there, you can see that stack right there. That's all nuke boxes that need to be put together, which that'll be for next year. But when once I put them all together, I get the lid on them. I take a little razor knife and I go back and cut this in the lid to where when it's time, after I make up the nuke and carry it to where I need to carry it, I'll open it up like that and put a feeder bucket on top of there with some thin sugar syrup to keep them fed. Although when I make it up, we put 1 frame of food and 2 frames of brood, but I still feed them. That helps them to draw out the foundation on the 2 new combs that we're putting in there. These things up, or if you're making yours up and you are putting a coat of wax on your frames, I highly encourage you to get some sort of apron like this. They sell these in Harbor Freight. They sell welding aprons, not this color, it's a leather looking one. They're not very expensive, but if you don't, and that wax right there gets on your shirt, you can hang it up. That shirt will from now on be your wax coating shirt because it does not come off, and it doesn't come off of pants or anything like that. So again, highly encourage you, put something over the top of it.